So now that we have a clear view on how the code works, the HTML code, let's understand how the code takes effect once we start using it. In doing so, we need to first know how to call it back, how to summon it, okay? So we'll go and inspect element. We know that we have the div ID. Once we inspect element on the right side, this is where we're going to use CSS, the different language, coding language, okay? And what we're going to do, we're going to select the plus sign on the top right hand side of the CSS section, right here where you see my red square, okay? So here I have selected on my right side, do you see the square here? It's called new style rule. This means that I'm adding a style to that element, okay? If I click here, okay, something that also helps a lot, the div ID of the widget is created, okay? So this is the ID of the widget. So it creates the style, okay? To create the style, this is how you call it. Oh, all right, so I called it. Now I can mess around with it. Now I can add something to it on the code, okay? And later on, I'm also going to give you an example on what types of things you can do with code. All right, so as you can see here, I have selected the freelancer. Let me just do it here so that we're all synced. There you go. Inner text 42, div ID, inner text 42. Press on the new style rule, exactly like that. All right, so, whoops. Once you click on the plus sign, a new style appears, and this is where you use the code. I also want to point out something that I didn't include on the slide. You're going to see inner text 42, a dot inner text 42, and a div ID. Okay, what's the difference, for example? So the div ID is more the element itself. Now in Webby, generally in coding, every element you can assign multiple elements into a class. Okay, a class, let's call it a group. So in Weby'nar, every element has its own class. So that's why I told you don't pay attention into details of the code. Just, you have a div ID and that's it. If you can add the effect, you can add the effect either in the class or in the div ID. It's going to do exactly the same thing. So no need to worry about that.